Good after. I'm dead over here. What's that? I'm on the air? Well, I've got one nasty little hum and I can't hear myself in my ears. Keep talking. All right, then. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is National Intel Report. I'm your host, John Stadtmiller. And now I really can't hear myself because my engineer just took the headphones off my ears. Oh, okay, there he is. Yes, you can make some adjustments here. Yeah, there's a nasty hum in it. Now okay. Still got the hum. But at least I can hear myself. All right. At any rate, what? What? What?
Don't you ever clean up your office?
No, I never clean up my office. What, do you think I'm Alex Jones? I got money? Now, wait a minute. Now I can hear myself. Well, thank you very much. So much so, I even got feedback. All right, at any rate, good afternoon, folks. Sorry for the little mess up. We just had a connector, for some strange reason, go afoul. At any rate, welcome to the special edition of the National Intel Report on this Tuesday. Bobby Chapman. Bob, you there?
I am here.
I'm not even going to ask you the obvious question, except to say, did everything go okay for you last week?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, pretty good, except I caught a cold.
Well, that's what happens when you try to catch a bus to Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you sound at least alive and well, and I hope you're happy where you're at, wherever that is on planet Earth.
I am.
Well, good. You sound ecstatic. Robbie Noel. Good afternoon, Robbie.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, it's a move in that way. As a friend of mine years ago used to say, how you doing? It's a laying that away.
I'm not touching that.
Okay. All right, tell you what, guys. When we come back out of the break, I want to play a Gerald Celente clip that was on Russia television. I guess this is RT. And these guys are doing a better job in reporting the important stuff inside the United States than the bought-off news media in this country does itself. A lot of interesting things happen. We're going to cover it all today. Go through Mr. Chapman's newsletter and the information he's put out just recently. Biggest sale of treasuries, folks, since when? 1972 or 1974? Did you get anybody to buy these toxic things, by the way?
Well, the sale was going on all week. It's about 75 billion more, I think.
And
who knows how much the Fed is buying?
Well, guys, when you look at this, $3 trillion worth of imports into this country last year for the American consumer. These are $3 trillion worth of goods that Americans are buying but not producing. On top of that, as you pointed out in your newsletter, Bob, we're looking at 6 million job losses since November of 2007, 8 million before that through G.W. Bush, and a recession and leading into depression on top of all that. We'll be right back, folks.
Get ready for Real Talk Radio. You're listening to the National Intel Report with your host, John Stadtmiller.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. National Intel Reports. Bob Chapman, Robbie Noel joining us at the bottom of the hour for a half hour will be Gerald Celente himself. And here's the latest thing on Russian television, folks. Geez, it almost makes you wish you were in Russia. Well, at least for the news reporting. This is what they said on the U.S. economy.
The U.S. administration has been saying it sees the first green shoots of economic recovery. However, consumer spending remains low in America, and some experts argue the signs are misleading. With the dollar weakening, but the Federal Reserve continuing to print more, RT's Alina Minkowski reports on what could be a false dawn for the U.S. economy.
What can you get for $1? Not much these days. Its value dropped considerably at the end of June. And this, despite the Obama administration announcing signs of an economic rebound. Experts think these are false claims of hope. They see a gloomy future for the dollar and say that the $787 billion stimulus package passed earlier this year is only making things worse.
The green shoots that they think they see don't reflect any genuine economic growth. They reflect the initial reaction to the stimulus.
That was Peter Schiff.
Up with heroin, you're going to get some type of reaction before there's a withdrawal.
And as job loss continues in the U.S. and Americans have less money to spend, their problems become everybody's problems.
America's only 5% of the world population, but it consumes 25% of the energy and takes in almost $3 trillion worth of the world's exports each year. If America doesn't consume, the global marketplaces slow down dramatically.
And faith in the dollar as a global reserve currency is long gone.
At this rate, I think it has no future as a reserve currency. I think its days as a reserve currency are over.
This becomes obvious when China, its biggest investor, wants out. They've even asked for the topic to be discussed at the upcoming G8 financial summit. Economists are predicting the death of the dollar, but the U.S. keeps printing more and more of them to keep their sick economy afloat. But could the rest of the world soon be wiping their noses with this once, oh so valuable, little green note? Alota Minkowski, RT, Washington, D.C.
Well, I guess you could either blow your nose or use it on the other end. Gentlemen, so refreshing to get a newscast. Unfortunately, it's made in Russia for world distribution. $3 trillion. 70% of our GDP is gauged by people going into debt to buy these $3 trillion worth of imports being offloaded into the country. We have declining employment picture, over 20%. Bob, how long are people going to put up with the Obamanoid in Washington, D.C. and his just absolute straight-out lies?
Well, if you remember the beginning of the year, I said that the stimulus package was politically laid out, so to speak, and that 90% of that package would go toward clearing up debt. And I said there would be another stimulus package talked about prior to the fall of $2 trillion. And as we have seen, the stimulus money, 92% of it went into savings, so I was close there. And now they're talking already about another package, which means more inflation as they pour money into the economy. And it's not going to solve the problem. It just isn't. They're grasping at straws.
Well, and guys, look, they're doing the biggest Treasury sell-off here in more than 30 years. China is not buying any more of this toxic asset. I don't know where they're going to get the money, and more importantly, since we have absolutely no transparency with the Fed and what the Treasury and the government is doing, you said it earlier, Bob, how much is the government going to buy of its own treasuries?
That's right, and how much of those treasuries is going to be bought by the Fed, too. So it's a little game that they're playing here, and it's not going to work.
The game that's being played is the game being played by China. All statements coming out of China. On Friday, we were led to believe that China, even though it's not a member of the G8, was going to put the reserve currency debate question on the table. Then we get another report that India will be joining China and Russia, pushing for, obviously, an alternative to the dollar. And then on Monday morning, just before the market opens, China comes out and says, oh no, the dollar is going to be the supreme reserve currency for a long time. I've never seen so many mixed messages, Bob.
The reason for the latter pronouncement was the riots that were precipitated in China by MI6 and the Central Intelligence Agency.
What was it, 156 people killed?
Mm-hmm.